two very good centre-halves. But I feel for Potter in a sense because is it the quality in the final thirds that's lacking? Is it a problem with the players? And his problem now is to lift them players and lift their confidence because there's no transfer window. They've got 10 games to go to keep them up. And he's going to rely on these players when they get into them positions next week and the coming weeks after of hitting the target and doing better.
When you talk about lifting those players, and you make the perfect point when you say the foundations are there, all three of us sit here and say, we really like watching them play football. But then you look at the stats and they tell us 1 win in 13, 11 goals scored in the last 11 games, own goals as a second top scorer. Even more worrying, we watched the relegation scrap last season where they finished 17th. They're now 2 points worse off than where they were at this stage last season. They only survived by 2 points.
Yeah, there's lots of ways to win football matches. You can be as attractive as you want, but at the end of the day, you have to win matches. If you look at the two teams today, you'd probably like to watch Brighton week in, week out rather than you would Palace. Palace are not far off fifth now. You know, they're winning matches. They're grinding games out, or they have in the last two matches. And Brighton, as attractive as they are to watch, they're not winning games.
If you're a Brighton fan, you might want to look away now because we're going to talk about the run-in, and it does not look nice at all. When you look at the teams still to come, and you can see there they've got the best team in the country, they've got the second team, they've got Leicester a third, they've got big games against the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United. Are they going to go down?
I think that now, after today, I think if West Ham and Bournemouth or one of them gets a result, Villa maybe, then you're looking at them as one of the favourites to go down. I think coming up to the Southampton game, 3 games to go, they need to be within touching distance them because the last 3 games there, apart from the Norwich games, are the ones where you think they're possibly winnable or getting points out of. The rest of them, you're like, it's going to be so tough for them. My fear for them now, Wolves, Arsenal, Leicester, Manchester United. Possibly Norwich will get some points, but Liverpool, City after that, I can't see any points there. So those back to the last 3 games would be so crucial, but they could be banging it by then.
It's a big worry. What do they need to do? Because Graham Potter will say to his players on the training ground, if he calls them in tomorrow, you created chances, you dominated possession. Does it just come down to quality? Because there's nothing they can do about that now.
What does he like? We know from speaking to Dan Ashworth early on the season and Potter, they're very process-driven, and he's already come out there after the thing, and he's not lying. He said they was dominant in certain areas. But he's going to have to go on the pitch now, and he's going to have to just keep doing what they're doing, keep training and trying to lift them players. You know, get more pay. Solly March, who's missed a chance, Glenn Murray, get them round, you know, a little few extra finishing sessions, but then you've got to probably play with their minds a little bit, you know, make them feel that they can go out against your Liverpools, against your Man Cities, and when the ball drops, they're going to be confident enough to stick it in the back of the net. They will still create chances from now to the end of the season because of the way they play. It will all come down to can their front 3, front 4, whoever's there, can they take the chances?
They were looking okay October, November, December. This slide has now begun. Take us inside that dressing room. You know what it's like to play on a team sliding towards relegation. How big is the sort of fear factor now for those players?
Yeah, it's so difficult because where they are at the moment, today was a huge game because if you look at the fixtures coming up now, you're struggling to see where the points come from. But the way they play, they'll create chances against anyone. I thought it was more difficult today the way Palace played. They might have more joy against someone who comes out and is a bit more open against them. I thought they lacked ideas when Palace sat behind, and we called it a smash and grab because that's what it was. I mean, they limited them to, as they had a lot of shots, but they were all from outside the box and easy saves for the keeper, really. So I think they might have a little bit more joy at a team that comes out against them.